Hi everyone, my name is Phil and welcome to Phil Does 3D. I'm a multimedia and 3D artist and I stream live on Twitch on Mondays and Tuesdays at 5 PM Pacific time in the United States, which is 10 AM in Australia or 1 AM if you're in the UK. I hope you guys and girls are well. Do remember, if you do miss the streams, you can always catch up by clicking the videos tab at the bottom of my stream if you're looking at the new Twitch layout. If you're still on the old Twitch layout, it'll be at the top, but if you look at the new Twitch layout, it'll be at the bottom. Just click the videos section and you can watch the streams at your leisure at any time. Sniper Echo, it's good to see you, buddy. I hope you had a good weekend. I hope everything's going well with you. And Euro, it's good to see you as well, Euro. I hope you're well. Tamana, thank you for the 35-month subscription. You are absolutely awesome, Tamana. So thank you very much for the sub. For 35 months. Wow. But it's good to see you, Euro and Sniper. I hope you guys are well. Did you guys hear about UE4? I'm assuming you did, judging by the messages in the Discord server. It looks pretty cool. I mean, unlimited polygons. How about that? Real-time global illumination or screen-space global illumination. How about that? Well, we don't know whether it's screen-spaced or if it's ray traced or what it is at this stage. But the engine does look pretty cool. No more poly reduction. Yay! Euro says 1440p, 30 frames per second. It's no threat to the PC master race. No, it's not. Nothing is a threat to the PC master race. Although I do have to admit, the specs on the Xbox One X are pretty beastly. Yeah, they're pretty good, depending on how much they release the console for. Yeah. Look, I'm a PC master race person. I always play my games on the PC because that's the way you should be playing your games. Not this console peasant stuff. But those console specs look pretty beastly. But the UE5 demo, I believe, was running on supposedly on a PS5. I actually want to take a look at the video. I'll do that in a minute. I'll just wait for anyone else, any stragglers that might want to pop in before I start the video up. We will check out the actual demo that Epic Games released on UE5, the video on their YouTube channel. But it does look pretty cool. Unlimited polygons. Unlimited polygons. I know you guys were talking about what does that mean for game sizes, and you are correct. It is going to mean huge installs. Huge. You guys know that when you start getting into millions of polygons, your model sizes start going through the roof as far as storage goes. I see it was mentioned that it's probably going to push the streaming service of games, game streaming, and that's probably right. They'll probably use that as an excuse to say, well, you know, instead of downloading 1 gigabyte patch for your game, play it, stream it over the net. No, it's as bad as subscription service for software. No game streaming, no subscriptions for software. They're bad. Euro says that puny 825 gigabyte SSD in the PS5 is going to be cramped. You're quite right, it will be. That's why I think they're going to try and start pushing for game streaming. So you don't actually physically install it anymore, you stream it. I don't know how that will affect console sales though, but we'll see. Euro says you need a 9 gigabyte a second plus to stream that demo. Yeah, they haven't really spoken much about that demo. Like, they released it. I think Tim Sweeney has sort of like made a couple of tweets on the specs and stuff, comparing it to the PC, the PS5 and the PC. It appears, look, I don't know any more than you guys, but it appears that the high poly modeling stuff is being streamed in via the SSD. So at the moment, generally what happens is, even though at the moment with our games we do get streaming, we get texture streaming and all that sort of stuff, it appears that what they're doing with that demo is they're streaming in the mesh data from the SSD as you travel through the level, which will mean, you know, you're going to have a beastly SSD to actually keep up. Euro says gigabyte, not gigabit. The little G, the little B and the big B. Cookie, it's good to see you, Cookie. How are you? Cookie says next-gen consoles Next gen consoles do then to come out with cutting edge hardware, but PCs always speed off ahead once a console comes out. Well, that's true. Look, even the faster of the two consoles between the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox One X is the Xbox One X. It's got more powerful hardware than the PS5. Slightly. But even that is not going to compare to, like, even the Xbox One X at, I think it's 12 teraflops is graphics through capability. That's equivalent to like a 2080. So it's like graphical wise equivalent to a 2080 if you're just going on teraflops, which you shouldn't because it's a bit of a meaningless thing now. I mean, it's still good to gauge how fast something is, but you don't pay as much attention to teraflops as you used to. So it's about equivalent to a 2080. But in NVIDIA, they had their keynote, even though it wasn't really regarding graphics cards for gaming, it was more data center stuff. But they announced Ampere, which is the next chipset from NVIDIA, and you should expect probably a doubling of the teraflops from that anyway. So basically, the next generation Ampere card will probably be twice as fast, at least, as an Xbox One X. So, and that's due to be released before the consoles are released anyway. So PC will always be cutting edge, and that's why we're PC Master Race. Euro says the character in the video looked kind of meh compared to the hey, look. Let's have a look at the video, shall we? Let's analyze the video. Cookie says do tend to come out. Yes, I understand, Cookie. Euro says looks at 24 CPU threads in all its glory. That's right, 24 CPU threads, because you've got a 3900X or something, haven't you, Euro? From memory. Super jealous. Super jealous. Yeah. Super jealous, Euro. Super jealous. Yeah. And again, the Xbox One X has 8 cores, 16 threads, hyper-threaded. Well, they don't call it hyper-threading because it's AMD, but you know what I mean. I think hyper-threading was something that was turned by Intel, but the same thing. So yeah, there you go. Cookie says, yeah, true. And the PC, you can $1,000 on a single piece of hardware, more than a whole console. That's right. See, that's not a concern. But that's probably the way a lot of consumers, normal everyday people, not us, but you know, people that just don't care that much and just want to play a game, will look at it. They'll think, well, if I can spend $500 on an Xbox One X, and if I buy a PC, it's going to cost me $1,500. They see more of the value in the console. But you have to bear in mind too, the console games to buy are much more expensive than PC games. So while you're initially saving on the hardware, because Microsoft or Sony will take a hit on the cost of the hardware initially, it'll get cheaper the longer it's been in production, but initially they'll take a bit of a cut on the cost of the hardware, but you're going to be paying more in the long run for games. So, because games on a console are more expensive than games on a PC, buying them, that is. I get what you mean, Cookie. It's okay. I can read between the lines. So don't worry if any of you guys misspell when you type. I generally can get the gist. Even my old brain can get the gist. So yeah, keep that in mind, console people. Even though you are getting a good deal on the hardware, you're going to be paying more in the long run for the software, for the games. And the other reason I like PC gaming is because I like to be able to tweak all of my settings in a game. Like if I want to turn up shadows, turn on draw distance, you know, all of that sort of jazz. I've got the control on a PC. Generally with a console, they don't. Some games will let you do that, but a lot of games don't. They sort of they tailor the game specifically to the hardware, so they don't let you play with any settings. And that's half the fun of PC gaming, is playing with those settings. Cookie says, can you do it? Ken Ford do it was nice to weekend you. I did have a very good weekend, Cookie. Thanks for asking. I hope you did too. The guys and I were working on the game level over the weekend, and we managed to finally fix something that was a bit annoying, had been a bit annoying for quite a long time. So one of those eureka moments where you fix a problem that you've had for like months, which was good. So it was good. It was a good weekend. I hope you had a good weekend too. Hope your weekend good was too. Let's have a look at before we jump into, now we're going to be working on the House on the Hollow game, which is the game I was working on with the Game Studio over the weekend. You can wishlist that game now by typing !Steam in Twitch chat. That'll give you a link to the Steam store page, or you can click the graphic in my panels below my stream. And that'll take you to the Steam store page as well. We're going to continue working on that today. We're working on the assets for the study for the game. But before we do that, I think we're going to check out this this Epic Games UE5 reveal. Now, I've turned the music off because we don't need the music. It'll just give you feedback through my mic, and I'd have to mute my mic and not talk, and you guys know how hard it is for me not to talk. So I'm going to mute the music and we're just going to watch the video. So let's have a look here. Oh, Unreal Engine, where's the B? Yeah, no, we don't want to see you guys. No, apologies to you guys, and that's all very well and good, but let's get to the video itself. Yeah, now the character. You guys were talking about the character. I agree. The environments were beautifully done, but of course they're mega scan environments, so they're photogrammetry scanned environments. They're going to look amazing. Whereas obviously the character here, she was created. She looks like a current gen character to me. I mean, we're getting some nice reflection here happening in her eyes. This is obviously ray traced, I'm assuming. So we are getting this nice reflection, which you can fake with screen space reflection anyway. But anyway, that's beside the point. As far as the skin shader goes, though, yeah, it's pretty much current gen looking to me. I mean, she looks very nice. Whoever did the art did a great job. I'm not criticising, but doing a comparison to today's games, it looks like one of today's games characters to me. Like, she looks like Lara Croft. I don't know if that was what they were going for. The whole demo looks like Lara Croft, but anyway, Tomb Raider. I guess too, they have to be a little careful with characters, because if you get too realistic, you get that uncanny valley thing where people just get put off by the character because it looks dead. Like, yeah, it's so realistic that people know it's not real, and the character ends up looking a bit dead. The hair is meh, yeah. Look, skin shader is nicely done, but again, it looks like one of today's models. Doesn't look next gen. Euro says, yeah, later in the video with a high-res environment, the character in comparison looks not up to the same grand. Let's keep playing through here. It's the environments I'm more interested in more than the character, because I'm an environment person, and the environments are beautiful. But of course, again, they're using Quixel Mega Scans, which are photogrammetry scanned rocks, so they're going to look great. Like, the texturing here is all beautifully done, of course. The amount of detail is quite incredible. The other interesting thing here, though, is the Niagara physics. Sorry, the Niagara particle system. Now that there's like grouping, or particles can interact with particles and follow particles, and they're showing that all quite a bit here with the birds and with the beetles later on in the video. It does look pretty, very pretty. I'm going to get a close up here. Now, yeah, now the detailing is amazing. Again, photogrammetry. The lighting is nicely done too. Yuri says, yeah, later, we'll keep going. Certainly beautifully done. But of course, if you want to, you can use these assets I'm imagining right now if you want to make a game, because Quixel is free to use for Epic Games, the Unreal Engine. So, and this is their poly, the poly count, and they were talking like down to a polygon per pixel or something in the video description. That's a lot of polygons. That is mega heavy. For a game to run that, that's quite impressive. Just keep playing here. You can see some of the pop in and pop out happening around the place with the polygons. That's basically telling me that they're doing some sort of... Well, one of the new features of DirectX 12 Ultimate, as Microsoft are calling it, which is due to be released with the new version of Windows 10 2004, which is due to go live at the end of this month. And part of the Windows display driver model 2.7 is something called mesh shading. Mesh shading basically allows you to use really high polygon models as well. That's actually part of DirectX 12 Ultimate's API. Decimate 100. So I have a feeling they're doing some sort of... They're probably doing streaming, mesh streaming from the SSD, as well as some sort of mesh shading, which is again part of the new DirectX 12 API. Tier 1, I think they're calling it DirectX 12. And there are videos on YouTube from NVIDIA and other companies that show you what mesh shading is all about. So basically it's sort of like... Nero says, I wonder if it's high poly mesh with vertex paint. No, I don't think... Well, it could be, but this to me... Yeah, it's an odd looking graphic. It's hard to say what's going on here exactly, but these look like polygons, which is what it's supposed to be, because you can see here on the rocks where it's flat, the polys are longer and more stretched, as opposed to the rock surfaces here where they're much smaller. But I just noticed during this, while the camera is panning around, you see pop-in coming, things appearing and moving, like here. You see how that's popping in here and there? Now, that could be something to do with the compression on YouTube, maybe. My guess is, though, it's something to do with mesh shading. So they're sort of like, they're culling polygons depending on the viewport. That's what I think they're doing. As well as streaming meshes, probably. So mesh streaming and mesh shading. A combination of both of those. Oh, the lighting here. The lighting is really interesting. This radiosity lighting is very, very nice. Very nice. It'll be interesting to know whether that's ray traced or if it's some sort of screen space thing. Cookie says there's some magic LOD stuff going on. Yeah, there is. They're lodding somewhere. But I don't know if it's lodding. There may be mesh shading, which is like lodding, but for meshes. But not actually mesh data. It's culling. It's mesh culling through mesh shaders, which are a new thing with DirectX 12 Tier 1. You know, when I first saw this, I thought it was Tomb Raider. Like, I thought it was a Tomb Raider game. I didn't realise Epic had made their own little demo level here. I thought it was actually like they were using the next Tomb Raider game as part of their... Which I guess they might be. Actually, no. They've admitted it's not Tomb Raider. And so I saw online here some people saying, oh, this is a loading screen. And Epic said, no, it's not a loading screen. But a lot of people, when they see this, think loading screen. Character, yeah, her hair isn't great. You are right, Cookie, her hair is not wonderful. Smurfberry Barbecue says 1 gajillion all the polygons, like I said in Discord. Give me all the polygons. You know, look, Phil likes his high poly models, and now Phil can go absolutely spastic nuts. He can go nuts with the polygons. Again, yeah, here, the new Niagara particle system where particles can sort of interact with each other. It's very nicely done. The water. Now, the water of the demo, when I saw the water here, I thought the same thing. You see how they're angling it up so we don't see a lot of her walking through the water? It does not look great. I saw one comment, somebody said it looks like she's walking through Quicksilver, and it does. The water does not behave the way normal water probably would. It just looks off. It does not look quite right. I think part of the reason it doesn't look right is there are no splashes. You know when you're walking through water, you kick water in front of you, which splashes and then creates, little ripples and all that sort of jazz. I think that's the problem. I don't think it's so much the viscosity of the water. I think it's the fact that as she's walking through it with her feet, she's not throwing any water forward. There are no little splashes happening. That's what makes it look fake. Euro says, if the whole thing is streamed from hard drive, you won't need to load screen areas to transition level. No, and that's why they said that shot where she's actually squeezing through the rock. They said it's not a loading screen because you don't need to have loading screens anymore. It's sort of streamed in. So you're right, Euro. I think they did it. I don't know why they did it. It was an artistic thing. I think they chose to do it for artistic reasons. Maybe to give you a close up on the character. I'm not sure. Cookie says they're still working on that bit. Yeah, I'm sure they are. Look, this engine is not going to be released for another year. It's not till the end of next year, UE5. I think they're going to have a preview release around the middle of next year, but it's not till the end of the year that they're officially releasing it. So you have to give them some slack. They've done a beautiful job, beautiful job. And if we're just nitpicking, that's all. Don't look, Cookie says, yes. Mercury says, I'm surprised it actually made a point to mention the water during the demo. Yeah, I am too, because they did actually mention the water. They shouldn't have. It drew people's attention to the problem with the water. I guess they were trying to sort of show you that there's reaction happening between her feet and the water as she walks through it. But you're right. If it was, I don't think they should have drawn attention to it because it's not quite there yet. It's not bad, but it's there. It does not look quite right. And it's the splashes. Splashes just don't look right. If they could have even put a particle system around her feet to actually simulate splashes or something, if they didn't want to go that full route. I don't know why they didn't. Maybe that was sort of like the last part of the demo they worked on and they didn't have time before they wanted to do a release. Maybe. Smurfberry says, but we've had that with Game Water for years. That's true. Euro says they need some real-time VDB for the water shaders. Yep. There's a lot of things that they could do. And I'm sure by the time that Epic Games release this engine, judging by their other engine versions, it's going to be amazing. Because it already looks really super cool. But again, like I love the detailing in the rocks, but the rocks are photogrammetry, so they're going to look amazing. The lighting though, the lighting's very nice. We're getting this bounce light, the radiosity happening here under the underside of the ledge and through here. It's beautiful, beautiful. But yeah, again, we were talking about the character. She does look quite ordinary, like current gen here as she's climbing up over these rocks. They did mention something about the animation reacting to what she's climbing on, which is interesting. But again, I'm not an animator, so I'm not really up on all of that sort of thing. Again, we're getting this nice bounce lighting radiosity underneath of the overhang. I'm surprised they didn't move these flags at all, like they're completely stationary throughout the entire demo. I'm surprised they aren't waving in the wind a little bit. That surprises me. It would have been a nice visual effect and it wouldn't have been that difficult, I wouldn't have thought, for them to do it. Same here. If I was directing the video, they should have had her push the doors open to light the interior as she walked through the door, because that would have been a really nice way to highlight their new lighting engine. If she sort of pushed the door open so that the interior lit up a little bit more as she walked through. But anyway, again, nitpicking. They sort of do it here with their little light. Those bugs are so creepy. Creepy. I hate bugs. Cockroaches, spiders, ooh, they freak me out. And here, where they actually bring this lighting solution in when they collapse the ceiling, very nicely done. Modelling, texture work on the models is really nice too. Yeah, really nice. I think, weren't they talking about bringing a model directly from ZBrush into the engine here? I think this model apparently was made in ZBrush and brought directly in without doing any sort of decimation. Smurfberry says they better be working on breakdown videos for this environment. I'm sure they've got a whole marketing campaign set up behind this, don't worry. Don't worry, Smurfberry. I'm sure Epic Games have a huge marketing campaign ready to go. And then they were saying how many of these high resolution models they had in this room, and how high poly they were and how many they had. Just looking at the shadowing here to try and work out, you know, that they have a soft shadow going on here, which is nice. Name a Yellow Fruit says, I think the little grass tufts don't sway in the wind either. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? They obviously put a huge amount of work into the demo, but there are some areas that they just seem to ignore. Maybe it was a time thing. They might have had like constraints on how much time they had to work on it, or maybe more probably the marketing people at Epic decided they wanted to push it out to get some buzz happening a bit earlier, and they just didn't get time to add all of the effects they probably could have wanted to. Kamal's Workshop says hello. Wish you have a nice stream. Thank you, Kamal. Thanks for being here and popping in and saying hello. I always appreciate it when you guys and girls pop into chat and say hi. It's good to see you, Kamal, and good to see Name a Yellow Fruit too. Smurfberry says, I bet it was a timing thing. I bet it was too. A timing thing. Euro wants me to go back a few seconds. The top of that rotary thing looked weird. You're talking about this thing over here? Yeah. Let's have a look. Oh, what do you mean looks weird? In what way? I noticed there was a bit of a funny thing going on. If you look at this center section, just as she approaches it, it's sort of like, but I think that's more the shadowing that you're looking at. That's like the light source is being moved and the shadowing's moving. It makes the center bit piece look like it's sort of waved a little bit or got a bit wavy. No problem, Kamal. When it gets lit by her orb. Yeah, look, yeah. I think I know what you mean, but I think it was more of a shadow thing. He's talking about this here. It sort of like looks like it waves a little bit, but it's just that inner shadow moving as she moves around it with her glowing orb. And that's beautifully done. I mean, that just looks so cool. So cool. We can certainly see how many high poly models are here. And again, we've got some nice soft shadowing going on. So it obviously seems to be using some form of ray tracing, at least with ray trace shadows. Smurfberry says, all games will now be Tomb Raider. That's right. I really like actually this, is that cloth that they've got hanging here? I like the yellow colour. It's a colour thing. I'm all about colour, and I love the colour here of the red and the yellow next to the rock. It looks really cool. Is that supposed to be fabric though? Because if that's supposed to be fabric, And again, we're going to be really nitpicky here, but we're getting an intersection here on the fabric through the rock, and the fabric is actually not touching the edge of that donut. Whereas if that was real fabric, that edge there would be right up against this edge here. But anyway, I'm being really nitpicky. Ido, it's good to see you, Ido. Hope you had a good weekend. Euro says instances 100 times. That's right. Smurfberry says moths would eat it all. Euro says and the bats would eat the moths. That's right. So yeah, nitpicking, but I like the colours. But yeah, if it was actual fabric here, you wouldn't have that gap there. It does look like fabric. Environment's beautifully done though. Beautifully, beautifully done. As you would expect from the really talented people at Epic Games. Cloth physics here is quite nice on her clothing, on the sash at least. I think they're using the new chaos physics for the clothing here, which is not still officially in UE4. You can enable it, but you have to build from source. So if you want to use chaos physics, which is still classed as a beta, it's still in production, it's not officially part of the engine. If you just download UE4 from the Epic launcher, it's not enabled. Now, a lot of people have been talking about it and getting confused as to whether it is or it's not. It's not. If you want to enable chaos, you must download the source code from GitHub and compile, which is not difficult to do. But it's not just as easy as clicking a button and installing the default build. Snappery says poo-poo everywhere regarding the bats. Edo says guano. That's right, it's guano. Euro says that gold orb gave her a tattoo. A glowing tattoo. Android Lust, it's good to see you, Android Lust. How are you? Did you have a good weekend? You're late, that's okay. Better late than never, like I say. But it's good to see you, Android Lust. And I hope you had a good weekend. I hope you're well. We're just having a look at the UE5 demo that Epic Games released for the next version of the engine from next year. I'm just checking the environment out here, that's why I paused it. They like their falling rocks. They've used that quite a bit. They're going off everywhere. Well, this freaks me out every time a character does this sort of thing because of my fear of heights. Environment-wise, beautifully done though. Again, really nicely done. Flying through the air, things are crashing around her. Again, chaos physics, I'm assuming here. Yeah, again, the character, it does not, the environment looks super real and the character looks current gen. I love this effect they've got going on here, this particle effect for the gate though. That's really nicely done. Android Lost says, yeah, busy weekend. Well, that's good. Good busy though, I hope, Android Lost. Name a Yellow Fruit says, I wonder if all the falling rocks are baked or simulated in real time. If I was to guess, having looked at the demos for Chaos Physics, I would suggest they're actually real time. Because that's one of the advantages that Epic are pushing with Chaos Physics. You don't have to have pre-baked. Well, you can do both actually with Chaos Physics. You can pre-bake it, you can stimulate it real time, then bake that in and then use that as a pre-baked solution. They might have done that. They're not going overboard. I would think these rocks falling off the edges, they're not pre-baked. I would think that they're probably real time. There is a section here where as she goes through and things start to crumble around her, like like not this like here. I would think to get that timing correct, they probably pre-baked that stuff down. They wouldn't probably have relied on, because they don't want the rocks to hit the character, so they would have pre-baked it down. They probably used chaos physics to do the simulation, then bake the simulation down so that they could animate her going through without being hit. If I was to guess, it's all guesswork at this stage. Yeah, I think it's a mix of both, naming yellow fruit. Legmog, it's good to see you, Legmog. Says, so the ultimate question, is this all overblown, or is it an accurate portrayal of what games can realistically look like? That's a very good question. Legmog's had his fingers burnt too many times from game software render engines that promise the world look incredible, but they are nowhere near as good as they seem to be in the promo. Also, hey to you as well, Legmog. Hope you are right. A lot of people have suggested that these tech demos are just that. They're tech demos. They're a very small slice of what a real game would be. A lot of the stuff is pre-baked down. When it actually comes to making a proper game, where you've got AI to worry about and other characters to worry about, you might have, if it's an online game, you might have other people running around you've got to worry about. Then things have to start being toned back because, see, in these sort of tech demos, they don't have to worry about any of that. They can have to concentrate on are the environment and the animation for the character moving through the environment. There's none of the actual gamey stuff here. And they have their little, as she was moving through things, we've got the little X to interact and all that sort of stuff. So I'm assuming they have got some logic going on in this demo. But it is quite a different thing to a full game. We've all seen the great looking tech demos from companies like Nvidia and Epic, which do look amazing, like the ones for UE4, for instance. When it actually comes to making a game, there's a lot more things that are going to start taking up precious GPU and CPU time. So that doesn't detract from what they've done, though. It's beautiful. Yuri says, I wonder if she bumps into Jack O'Neill as she goes through the Stargate. This bit here as well, where this bit, I've gone back too far. This bit here that's collapsing, I have a feeling that's all pre-baked as well. So like the little the roof of that little building here, I think that's all pre-baked. Legmog says, yeah, my default stance on tech demos is guilty until proven innocent. Android Lost says, when I saw the demo, I made the mistake of looking at the comments, but everyone is going to assume all games are going to be up to a certain standard now. They've just raised the bar for every game developer on the planet, I'm afraid to say. Epic Games with this new engine, even though you probably, it's questionable how much of this sort of detail you'll be able to get into an actual game. They've certainly raised the bar as far as visuals and models and texturing go. So you're right. Every game developer now has to live up to this sort of quality. If you're doing like a photorealistic game anyway. If you're doing a stylized game, it's not so much of an issue. Name of Yellow Fruit says, think of the poor art teams that have to create all those photorealistic assets for a game. Well, that was one of the things that Epic sort of mentioned in this promo, that it's supposed to free up artists' time now because you don't have to worry about decimating models, you don't have to worry about lotting models, you don't have to worry about UV mapping, although how that works I'm not sure. Maybe they mean because it's photogrammetry assets and it's mapped automatically, I don't know, maybe. If I was to guess, I'd probably say that's probably where they're going with that comment. As well as lighting. With this real-time radiosity, artists can devote less time on lighting. But creating higher poly models, like in ZBrush, if you need to create anything and you can't use photogrammetry, it's going to push the dev times up for sure. Development times will be pushed further. It's more work, basically. unless you can get away with using photogrammetry, which is probably easier. Yuri says it's funny, this would have probably been showed at SIGGRAPH and only industry people would know about it. Due to COVID, they YouTubed it, so now everyone knows and will expect this in all their games. I'm sure that there are quite a few studios that, well, you have to remember, AAA studios or developers that are working on games now for the next-gen consoles will have access to this anyway. They've got access to the new DirectX 12 Ultimate, they've got access to the latest versions of the engines. So I don't know if you can expect this sort of quality even with access to the next-gen stuff, because, you know, a real game is different from a tech demo. But you're right, people are going to expect much, much high-quality games now. But yeah, it is funny. Euro, it probably would have been at SIGGRAPH, and now that COVID has happened, everyone gets to see it. Smurfberry says, I like to think that it took them like 20 runs to get a recording where she didn't smack into a falling brick and die. Yeah, I think they got around that by pre-baking the destruction. So they used chaos to actually create the destruction. They baked that down so that when they animated the character moving through it, they could move any rocks or bricks that might hit her as she goes through. Which is one of the advantages of the Chaos engine, the new Chaos engine. Smurfberry says this could be a real boon for visual effects, although UE4 is used in film production now, like Mandalorian. Yes, it is, with virtual sets. So they use the Unreal Engine, they project the environment onto really large screens that the character's standing sort of inside of, like a half-circled screen, so that you get the lighting effects and everything happening on compared to what's actually visually going on in the background. They did use that in The Mandalorian, and they used UE4 for that. I can't wait for the new season of Mandalorian, actually. Smurfberry says they don't care about storage size or performance on consumer hardware. Alex Beck, hi Alex, says, what's up? Love this demo as much. Can't wait to get my hands on UE4. Neither can I. I want UE5 now. Come on, Epic. Give me a build. Let me use it. All of these floating debris and stuff's really cool too. That's going on around this gate. It does look super cool. It's good to see you, Alex. Edo says, man, my COD game is sitting at 170 gigabytes. I wouldn't even download the UE5 games if they are pushing this much realism. They're going to be huge. When you start using photogrammetry and high poly models, it's going to push the game sizes up way, way, way up. Legmug says, I'm always reminded of a game called Metal Gear Solid Special Missions on the PlayStation 1. It was a very simple game, but one of its main features was being able to see a super detailed female character, super detailed geometry with fingers and actual facial animation. On a PS1, that's pretty impressive. The PS1 could handle that stuff, but the one character probably took like 80% of the game's capacity. So I always think is this Unreal Tech demo kind of like that? Technically this can be achieved, but realistically, yeah. And again, these tech demos don't have to worry about actual gameplay stuff. They don't have to worry about AI, they don't running AI, they don't have to worry about other characters in the game, possibly other people running around in the game, which will all take up resources on a graphics card and a CPU. So that I'm sure games will get much better. I just don't know if I'll get this much better. Android Lost says 500 gigabyte game, slow download speeds will hate it. That's better make sure you've got a fast internet connection if you're going to start downloading your games on next gen consoles or possibly PC as well. Legmark says realistically, not at all. Cookie says they have access to all the newest bugs. That's exactly right. I don't feel so bad because you're right, Cookie. They do have access to all of the newest bugs. But that's quite impressive. Kudos to Epic Games. They made a nice looking demo level. Every time I see this, it reminds me of two things. It reminds me of GTA 5, of course, and it also reminds me, there used to be a science fiction series back in the 90s called V, which was about these aliens that came to Earth, and that's what that reminds me of. Every time I see it. GTA 5 and the old sci-fi series called V. But they've done a great job. Very, very nicely done. Let's see how things pan out next year when they release a demo. I can't wait to get my hands on that. I want it now. We're going to go a little bit lower poly now. And we're going to start texturing up our, what is this called? Hourglass. So I believe we UV mapped it. I believe we did. Let's just throw an unwrap down and check. Yes, we did. So let's export it. And we can take it into Substance Painter. Alrighty, let's jump straight into Substance Painter and create a new project. Hourglass, hourglass. Now, alright, what I'm going to do here is, oh no, that's okay. I was going to say, I thought, let me just double check that. I didn't export the glass, did I? No, good, that's separate, good. But it does look like we have a problem here with inverted polys again. I don't know why that's happening. I wonder if that's something to do with FBX, the new version of FBX inside of Max. Let's have a look here. I'm just going to re-export the model again. We're just going to check some of the settings in the export dialog here before we actually say yes. Preserve edge orientation. I'm going to turn smoothing groups on. That should actually be on anyway. We're not exporting animation cameras or lights. So I'm going to turn cameras off. Lights off. Units is fine. Axes can be fine. The 2014-2015 FBX file format should be fine. That should be okay. I'm just going to save this preset as Phil Does 3D because that's my preset. My preset. Let's re-export the model. I'm just going to check to see if that made any difference. Let's edit our project configuration, reload our model. No, it doesn't look like it did. We're still getting inverted. Alright, let's jump back into Max. Smurpery says, gee Phil, stop doing that. Euro says, I have no problems with FBX out of 2021. Will you explain to me why I'm getting inverted normals here? When in Max's viewport here, the normals are correct. Yeah, when I bring it into Substance Painter, we're getting inverted normals here. Anyway, let's have a look. Okay. So now if I do a flip on this, now that's Max telling me they're inverted. I can tell they're inverted by the color. You see that dark red color? That's Max's way of telling you your birds are in, your normals are flipped. Whereas if I flip them back, that light red color tells me my normals are correct. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to just go isolate this piece so we're not distracted by everything else. I'm going to throw down and edit normals, and I'm going to unify the normals. Collapse my stack. Zopo, good to see you, Zopo. What's up, Bill Does 3D? Oh, not a lot. How are you? Did you have a good weekend? It's good to see you, Zopo. Euro says, sure it's not something with substance? Yeah, I don't know. Android Lust says, it is weird because you can see, look, you can see what I mean. They're not flipped here in Macs, they're fine. But when I export it, we've done a unify on the normals. Let's see if that makes any difference. Everything is pretty standard here. Smoothing groups, all of that jazz. That should not be a problem. Yet here it's inverted. So let's just, now that we've done an edit on our normals, let's see if it made any difference. And it hasn't. It's still inverted. So let's have a look here. Actually, I just want to go back here. Everything is inverted. You see what? Even these pieces, everything is inverted inside of Substance Painter, but not inside of Max. Now, if I invert everything, now Max is telling me that that's wrong. You should not be doing that. And I know that from the color of the mesh being a dark red. But if we export this, and re-import it, now Substance is happy. It's strange, and I've not run into that problem as often as I have since I updated to Max 2021, so I don't know what that says, but anyway, we can work with it. These assets are really for the game, so it doesn't really matter that in Max they're inverted, so long as in Substance they're right. Android Dust says it's pretty weird. It is. Euro says open the FBX in Windows 10 model viewer. If it's fine, then you know it's Substance being a twat. Oh, I don't think I've ever used Windows 10's model viewer. What's it called? Is it still in Windows? It's their 3D model thingy. .3D viewer. Whereabouts is it exactly? Yeah, let's do this. I've never used this program. I find it odd that Microsoft even included something like this. Yes, that's a bee. Very nice. Very nice animated bee. Alright, let's load in the model. Okay, now this is the inverted one that we've just loaded into Substance Painter. Let's just jump back into Max and do an invert back the way it was before. Let's export this as a test. I'm just going to export it on my desktop. And let's open that up. And now you see it's not inverted. So it's Substance Painter. What a surprise, Adobe. Thank you very much for your updates that break things. Substance Painter is doing something strange. So it's not a problem. Max is correct when Max says that it's not inverted here. You can see it's not. But as soon as it's brought into Substance Painter, it inverts them. So I don't know what Adobe have done with their. This is the latest version of Substance Painter, by the way, as well. They've done something though that's doing an invert on the polygons. So So there you go. We can work around it by just flipping them inside of Max. Actually, I must remember to flip these back because if we make any changes, I won't know what's going on. Adobe is so... They are! Yura says OpenGL project instead of DirectX. Maybe. Maybe. Could be. Aren't they dropping OpenGL now as far as most development things go? People aren't using OpenGL much anymore now that we've got DirectX and Vulkan. Android Lost says Adobe is slowly killing it. They are. Cookie says I'm still using 2019.2 because they broke Wacom support in 2019. Yeah, tell me about it. They did in 2019.3. I'm using 2020.1, I think. They make so many updates, it's hard for me to keep track of what's going on or what version I'm on. I generally just download and install the latest version. But you're right, Wacom, there have been problems with Wacom tablets in Substance Painter. Thank you, Adobe. Now there's obviously problems with flipped polygons. Thank you, Adobe. They took away... What was I bitching about last week that Adobe changed when they put the button back? There was that button in the export textures that I thought they removed, but they put that back. They just moved it to a different spot, so that's okay. But there was something else. Something else that they did that really annoyed me. Oh, that's right. Every time I do a bake, like I'm going to do that right now, they default the ID to material color instead of vertex color. Like I can change it and it'll default back. That really annoys me. Oh, hang on. I have to redo that because I forgot to set the low poly mesh as the high and change this. Bad Adobe. Bad Adobe. Don't go breaking shit. No, to me, this model, there's something about this model doesn't look quite right. There we go. I got rid of it was the ambient occlusion. It was not correct. Android Lot says, actually, I take that back. I don't want that to happen. Hero says, I bought the whole Affinity suite today. Tomorrow is bye-bye Photoshop. I don't mind. Yeah, look, I get it. Adobe are becoming a really annoying company now. But I use Photoshop a lot. I use Adobe Premiere a lot. There are alternatives to Premiere like Vegas Studio and all that sort of thing, but I've used Adobe for so long in all my jobs and all the different studios, and all of the studios I work for use it. So, but there are alternatives, and good on you there, Euro, buying the Affinity Suite. You won't be shackled to Adobe's teat anymore. Cookie says, at least the new bakers. Look, I love the baking here. The baking is cool. GPU accelerated baking. Very nice. So you're right. At least the bakers are nice. Let's rename this texture to Hourglass. And let's have a look. See, shall we? I'm going to go to my House in the Hollow materials that I've created. So I want consistency. Now, let's have a look at this one. No, I don't like that one. Let's have a look at this one. I'm going to be changing it. I'm just looking for an overall wood texture I like. So I really like that one either. Euro says, I benchmarked them both between time to open, minor edit, and save export an image, and I was done in Affinity before PS5 had loaded the file. That's my benchmark. I'm actually, well, that's what it's all about. The quicker you can get your job done, then go with that solution. I am looking forward to the new version of Premiere Pro, though, because they're finally, 2020, finally Adobe, going to be doing GPU accelerated like exporting of your media. So in the past, when you export your video file to go into Media Encoder, it's always used the CPU, and finally with the new version of Adobe Premiere, which is due to be released very soon, they're doing GPU accelerated encoding. Like if you have an Intel CPU, you can use QuickSync. QuickSync, I think it's called, which is hardware accelerated encoding. But you needed an Intel CPU with a GPU integrated, and you needed to actually have a monitor attached to that card, or to the actual CPU part, video part, the part on the motherboard basically. But I use external video cards like 2080s, so if you don't have a monitor plugged into the video port on the motherboard, which uses the Intel graphics card, then QuickSync isn't available. So it only sort of kicks in when it recognizes something is plugged into one of those ports. And I don't plug any of my monitors into the actual graphics card ports that are built into the motherboard. But now, the new version of Premiere Pro, you'll be able to use GPU accelerated encoding based on whatever video card you have installed in your computer. So that'll be nice. It's supposed to speed up encoding like quite dramatically. Because I spend as an example, today's stream, I will edit in Premiere after the stream. So I remove the countdown at the beginning and all that sort of jazz. And then I re-encode that video before I upload it to my Twitch channel. And that encode of a 2-hour stream generally takes, that's an X264 encode, generally takes about 30 minutes on my machine. Where with GPU encoding, it should only take 10 minutes. So that'll be sweet. Euro says natively in Premiere. Yes, Euro says AME has had CUDA for a while. It was never exposed to Premiere's exporter. Zopo says, does anyone know if in Substance Painter, if you choose DirectX instead of OpenGL, do you have to flip the Y on the normal map in Marmoset? There you go. I don't use Marmoset. And Euro suggests to flip the green Y channel. Let's have a look at this wood. This wood's probably better. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to remove this blank layer at the bottom. I'm going to throw this one down. Move it below the one above it. We're going to put both of these in a group. We're going to mask with color selection to just the red. They're the only parts we want to be wood grain. I'm just wondering whether I should do a flip. Let's just have a look at the direction of this wood grain. So if we do a rotation of 90 degrees, so the wood grain runs vertically and not horizontally. And what is causing that? What is causing that? That's where my seams are. Why are you doing that? Just before I look at that, let me just make sure all of these are rotated 90 degrees as well. And this one needs to be rotated too. I just want to make sure I don't have anything else here that shouldn't be here. No. Now let's have a look at what's going on here. Here it says another Substance update, only update. Oh, is there another one? I updated like last week or the week before as well. Oh, man. Too many updates. Just going to go through these maps here to see if I can find one that might be causing an issue. cannot see a problem there, but why am I getting that? Why? Euro says 2020.1.1. Build 256. Man, I'll have to update after the stream. Or maybe after tomorrow's stream, just in case. You never know with an update what they might break. Alright, so now I've got to try and work out why we're getting this problem. It's not a tolerance problem. It's really weird. I should not be having this problem. Let's jump back into Max and have a look at the model. It's a hotfix build apparently, Euro says. Okay, or maybe that'll fix the inverted poly problem I've had. Maybe. I won't hold my breath though. Yeah, we can see it's actually the seam line here it's having a problem with. I think what I might do is I might. I'm going to detach these temporarily. See now, this is because Max is saying your polys are inverted. That's why the model's turned black. Euro says changelog doesn't say anything about inverted polys. It's export and Python fixes are great. Great. Let's send this over to Ryzen. Just these bits here. And let's go with this. Ryzen, I might actually do this by hand because Ryzen's doing a weird thing. Actually, I wonder if it's something to do with the original. I'm gonna go back to Max with the original UVs. I think it might be a problem with the original UVs. I'm going to invert my model because I'm sick of working with things in black. I'm going to flip them. Come on, Max, why you do this? Let's go back. Let's send that back to Ryzen. And they're still there. Okay. Let's go into the channel info. Fine. Let's see if we can fix it through the channel info. So we want to remove the mapping channel. We don't remove the vertex color. Everything else is 0, so that's fine. Let's try sending it back to Ryzen again. Collapse the stack. Usually we can only fix this by doing an export. Yep, no, they're still there. Alright, we'll do it this way. You want to be difficult? Fine. Let's export this selected as an OBJ. When in doubt, export to OBJ. If I can find OBJ. Where is OBJ? FBX. There is OBJ. We'll just do it to the desktop as well. We'll call it test 2. We're going to re-import. Which is test 2. call it new. Okay, let's remove the old one, which is this one. Let's send this back to Rhizome, and it wants to be an edit poly. And they're still there. How can that be? Really? You're really going to do this? Aha. Now you see what's going on here. We actually have, looks like we've got a missing polygon. Yep, that's the problem. Alright. Okay, let's isolate this. Let's see what's going on here. Let's do an edit normal again. Okay, now let's send that over to Rhizome. We've still got that there though. Alright, look, instead of me mucking around with this unnecessarily, we are going to do this. A very quick, simple fix. I'm going to remake it. It's only a cylinder, it's not a big deal. I'm not going to muck around for half an hour fixing broken UVs when I can just remake a cylinder. We'll go with 36 sides. Make it a little bit bigger. And change the height. Alright, let's just duplicate that around. Again, if you're a Mac user, just hold down the Shift key and drag to duplicate. Okay. Now we can remove the old one, and we just need to re-UV map. What is going on there? Actually, let me select this. It looks like I might have left some old polys behind. Yep. That's the problem. Going to go into vertex mode to make sure I have not missed any, and it looks clear. That's good. Okay, let us attach these together. Convert to edit poly. Yuri says, change, it looks like they got detached from the old cylinder. Yeah, it does. That's exactly what, I think that was the problem actually that we were seeing inside a Substance Painter. So if I'd noticed that sooner than remaking these cylinders, I could have just reattached them and it probably would have fixed it. But that's okay. It took us all of 20 seconds to remake 3 cylinders. So we're just going to send that back to Ryzen. And now the automated tool here should work without a problem. He says, but it didn't. Let's try this one. That's fine, but I'm just going to do a bit of cleanup. Oh, really? Just trying to work out where I want my seam lines to be. Let us repack. That's better. Let's send that back. Alright, let's unhide everything. Now we're just going to need to attach these together again. Now remember it's inverted here, so that's why Max is looking a bit funky in the viewport. But we need to make sure our vertex coloring is correct, so we want to select we want to turn on vertex coloring, and we want to select these and make them the red. Alright, now we should be back to where we started. Let's re-export the model. As an FBX. Jump back into Substance Painter. Update our project. And again, it looks like the ones that we didn't invert are inverted again. So we need to... Oh man, I wish I knew why it was doing that. We need to invert these. Flip them. I'm going to have to look into why it's doing that. Why Max then is you saw when we opened up the 3D viewer with that test. In the 3D viewer, it is not inverted. It's only when it's brought into Substance Painter, it's inverted for some reason. I don't know if that's something to do with the new version of Max 2021 that's a bug in Max when it does its export, but if you think if it was a bug in Max, when we opened the exported file in 3D browser inside of Windows, it would have been inverted and it wasn't. So I don't know. Oh, hang on. Did I do that or not? Select hourglass. There we go. Let's rebake our maps again. Okay, let's just get rid of the ambient occlusion because we don't need that. And that's better. Alrighty, now we want to use a mask, a smart mask. And we want to go with, let's go with, edges strong, scratch. You finishing up UV now, Andrew Dust says? Yura says, I still haven't submitted to Rhizome yet. Do all mine in Max still. Max, look, again, I don't want you guys to think you need to use a third-party program to do UV mapping. You don't. Max's built-in tools are very good. Just wondering what's going on there. Oh yeah, no, the tools built into Max are very good. You don't need... I'm just going to remove that smart mask. You don't need to use a third-party program. Remove this mask. There we go. Just wondering what is going on there. Let's try a different mask and see if that fixes the problem. I noticed something weird going on here. It might be with the UVs again. Let's go with surface worn. I'm seeing this line happening here and here. Now the top is okay. And the bottom is okay. But under here, I don't know if it's something to do with... I wonder, actually I didn't do a repack on the UVs, that could be the problem. Betcha that's it. So now that we re-UV mapped those cylindrical pieces, we need to repack our map. Yeah, we're getting overlapping. That's the problem. So we need to repack. I forgot that step. Phil always forgets something. Export selected hourglass. Yes. Reload the model. Rebake the maps. And just remove the ambient occlusion. And that's better. Alright, now let's play with our smart masks. Yuri says, I use a mix of one free and one paid plugin for doing my UVs, works a treat. Could do it all without them, but they have functions that remove repetition. That's one of the good things if you're a Max user. There's a lot of free plugins available you can download from places like ScriptSpot. Because Max has been around for donkey's years and people have written a lot of free stuff for it that you can use. You don't have to spend a dime. I mean, Max is expensive to buy anyway, or rent now. But do remember, if you're a student or a teacher, again, I keep bringing this up because not everyone knows. If you have a student email address, you can get a free 1-year license to use Max, and you can keep renewing it for as long as you're a student for free. So bear that in mind. If you do have a student email that you can use, you can register for an educational version of Max, which is completely fully functional. It's exactly the same as the version that they sell. There's no difference. You download the version they sell, you use, and they give you a key, an actual key just like everyone else uses for free if you have a student email address. So bear that in mind. Let's see if we can't make it a little bit more interesting. What have we got to work with? These bits are going to be metal. I'm just sort of concentrating on the wood part here. I just want to make it look a little bit more interesting.
Your heart is heavy, happiness unknown. Sometimes you need someone.
Let's just go into the materials.
To make you think that better things
There must be something in here I can use.
I may not always be there every day, but I'll try to be the one who helps you feel okay. I'll try.
Let's have a look at. Look at this.
Do you want to be more?
I'm going to turn off the hide information and the normal information.
But emptiness can make you feel.
Yeah, I don't know if I like this. I'm just going to double check
So come
if I can't get it to do something I like.
I'll make it feel like you've not felt before.
It's the color I don't really like. Let's see if we can do something with the mixing.
Every way, but I'll try to be the one who makes things less mundane. I'll try. I'll try.
Okay, now let's throw down a smart mask. And let's go with, let's try subtle scratches.
I could be the one to make it come undone. Could you open up
No, I don't like that one.
love?
And I actually want to move this into this folder. Or do I? Yes, I do. I just need to clear out the mask. Eurus says, I've just remembered that you'll be in winter. Yes, in 2 more weeks we go into winter, and you guys know I love the cold weather, so I can't wait. Can't wait for winter. Love the cold weather. Pro Mentor 3D, thank you very much for following the channel Pro Mentor 3D. I do appreciate it when you guys and girls follow my Twitch channel, so thank you for the follow. I do remember too, if you do want to join the Phil Does 3D Discord server, you can click the link I've just popped in Twitch chat. Or you can click the blue graphic below my panels that says join the Phil Does 3D Discord. There's a section on there where you can show off, where you can link to your ArtStation or your portfolio. There's a demo there's a section for tutorials and tips that the guys and girls that are users of the server have come across over the years, videos, YouTube videos and stuff that are really helpful if you're an artist, of tutorials and tips that you can check out, and a gallery where you can show off your work as well. So just because I don't post links in my Twitch chat unless you're a sub to my channel, but everyone can post links in Discord. So we need a smart mask here. Let's go with, let's try dirt soft edges. Now why? Does not seem to be doing a lot for me. Why is that? I didn't delete the curvature. No, curvature is there. Alright, let's try a different mask. Clear out the old mask. Yura says I can send you some, it's going through. Yes, no, I love winter. Winter, in 2 weeks' time we're officially in winter and it's been nice and cold here in Melbourne. So, I mean, I don't know if you guys realise, but when I stream I've got lights going on everywhere, so I get quite hot in the middle of summer because, you know, I live in Australia where the temperatures can get to like 40 degrees Celsius quite easily. And then you have all these lights shining on you when you're streaming, it can get really hot. But in winter I don't have to worry about it. It's nice and cool. And I refuse to stream without a shirt on. Actually, I don't even know if Twitch let you do that. No one wants to look at my chest. Summer is just starting here, Android Lust says. Oh, look, summer can be good too if you like getting out and about and going down to the beach and doing all that sort of jazz. Summer can be a good thing. Personally though, while I like swimming, and I've done quite a bit of swimming over the years. I live in Australia. We have to learn to swim over here because we're surrounded by water. So while I do know how to swim and I do like swimming, I don't like summer so much. It just gets too hot. It's too hot in Australia. Way, way, way too hot. Now, I'm just bringing in the darker wood over the lighter wood just to give the colour a bit, the wood grain a little bit more interest in colour. A bit more variation. That's what I'm trying to say. To make the colour a bit more varied. Just so the wood grain looks a little bit more interesting. I might go with an invert. And pull back just a little on the contrast. We'll turn triplanar on. And the grunge amount. Bring it up just a little bit in the grunge scale. We'll pull it back just a little bit. Smokery says, I think they clarified the rules recently to say you can. Not that I want to see streamers do that. I don't either. I don't. You don't want to see Phil sitting here without a shirt on. That's for sure. Phil's white body, shirtless body. No, you don't want to see that. Yura says daylight is coming around again, 2:36 a.m. and I can see it on the horizon. Well, that's the other thing, of course, because we've finished daylight savings in Australia now, so it gets dark at like 5 p.m. now, which is cool. I like it when it's dark. I like twilight, actually. I like that twilight period. That's my favourite time of the day, twilight. But yeah, the sun comes up at like 6:30 when I get up generally in the morning, and goes to, and generally it's set again around 5 p.m. So unlike summer where the sun stays out until like 9:30 at night with daylight saving. Yuri says, hey, I live north. Smurfrey says, must be very north. Smurfrey says, all south. Yuri says, summertime, we only have twilight. No, oh, that sounds, I'd love that. Just twilight. Wow. because twilight is the most interesting part of the day. It's sort of, if you go outside during twilight, it's just something magical about that twilight period. Everything looks magical there. It's not pitch black like at night. It's not blazingly bright like during the day. It's that twilight. It's a really nice time of the day. I like twilight. Anyway, let's move on here. Let's do. We'll come back and do a dirt layer in a minute. Let's do the metal bits. So smart materials. We're going to go with. Let's try this gold. Because who doesn't like gold? No, I don't actually like that gold. Let's try this gold. No, I don't actually like that gold either. Let's try this one. No, I don't like that either. Let's try this one. This one might work if we do a mix. So let's go with, let's try this one. That might work. Let's put both of these in a grouping. We should do a save too, because I haven't actually saved for a while. Come on, you can do it. There we go. Let's do a quick save. Actually, I don't think I've ever saved this, so let's save it. Hourglass. Okay, now I'm going to throw one more layer down here, and I'm going to throw down this brass. Actually, no, not that brass. I want something a bit shinier than that. Let's see, what do we got? Let's try this one. This is one of the smart materials I made for the Magus book, which is part of the game. Might work. I might just bring up the shine a little bit. Just making it a little bit more shiny. So it's a little bit more reflective. Okay, let's put that in this group. Let's mask this group with color selection. Okay. Let's throw down a smart mask. We'll go with surface warm. Just to knock back the reflection a little bit. Okay, let's throw down another smart material. And let's go with Right. Look at this metal here. Mask it to the blue bits there. Okay, let's do a quick save. Now let's try dirt layer over everything. We change the blending mode. Just going to turn off the height and the normal information here because I don't want any height or normal. Keep going and changing the blending mode. Change the mixing mode. Going to remove that mask. Now I'm going to throw down this one over everything. Change the mixing mode. I've just temporarily turned off the dirt layer underneath of it while I do this play with the mixing modes to see if I can find something I like. Remove that dirt layer above. Just undo that for a minute. I'm just going to pull it back a little bit. Okay, let's do a quick save. Let's export these textures. Just trying to work out whether I should include the sand. I probably should actually. So before we export the textures, let's do this. We've saved the thingy. What I think I might do is here, I might include the sand as part of this texture map. That way, instead of me having 3 texture maps, one for the wooden hourglass, one for the sand, and one for the glass, because the glass we're going to use a glass shader in Unreal. We'll make the sand part of the same material here as the rest of the hourglass. So if I select the sand, that color should be fine. So we want the sand and we want that. I'm just going to isolate those two so it's easy for me to attach them. I'm going to collapse the stack and attach the sand. Actually, before I do that, I need to make sure that we're using the same material for the entire model, which is this one. So I'm going to attach the sand. Assign the same material to everything, plain material. We do need to repack the UVs now that we've attached the sand. I want to fill holes. We don't want to rotate the clusters though. We want to re-export the model. Now we want to jump back into Substance and edit the project. Reload the model we just exported. We'll have to do a rebake on the textures. It's waiting for Substance here. Okay, bake maps. Okay, we don't want the ambient occlusion. Good. No, it did put it back. We don't want the ambient occlusion. Let's go into our materials. And let's find a sand material. Come on. Sand, sand, sand. Let's go with this one. I'm going to do mask with color selection. And just up the scaling. Turning up the height information. Now again, we've got it inverted. Man, this is driving me insane. Let's fix that invert. Hit the wrong button. Collapse the stack. This inverted business is starting to drive me nuts. Let's do a flip on this. Re-export the model, 3rd time's the charm. Re-import the model. Rebake the maps once it's loaded in. Mercury says, have you considered threatening it with violence? If I thought it would do any good, I would. It's really starting to get annoying. I've gone through the FBX export options in Max. There's nothing there that I can see that could be causing an issue. So I'm really not sure what is causing that problem with the flipped polys, flipped normals. It's bizarre. Should not be happening. Android Dust says violence always works, at least in America. Let's do a quick save here. Now we can export the textures. And we're going to send it to the Hourglass folder. So UE4 projects, models, study, chosen, Hourglass. We're going to export it as a 1K texture, will be big enough. Yeah, we can go 512, but I'll just be on the safe side, we'll go 1K. Let's do a save. Okay, so we don't have enough time to start another model, but what I might do is I might jump into Max. So if we jump into Max, we turn off vertex coloring. Why are you black? Let's just do a save here on this file. I'm going to open the file we just saved. Just not sure why Max is doing that. Let's just do an edit on the normals. Unify the normals, collapse the stack. Something a bit weird going on there. Oops. Let's do this. Let's export the model to the desktop as an OBJ. Test 3. Let's re-import that. Test 3. I'm going to call it test 3 new. Let's remove the old one, which will be this one. Okay, let's load up the texture we just exported. We're going to use a physical material here, so PBR metal raw. And let's not do it that way, let's do it this way. Let's do it the old-fashioned way. Where have you put my... Yeah, there we go, bitmap. Hourglass. So we want the color. The metallic, the normal, and the raw. So color, metal, raw, and normal. Assign the material to the selection. Alright, now we're going to throw down a HDR environment. And I'm just going to load up. I don't know. Let's try the studio lighting. Render environment. Pop that in the render environment as an instance. Gotta make sure I've got Arnold set as my default renderer. Not scanline, we want Arnold. Views. Let's try a different HDRI map. Let's try another one. These are just the default ones that come with Max's install. Euro says, Arnold is super nice to work with. I never thought I'd say that. I was a huge fan of Mentor. Yeah, no, I really like Arnold as well. I didn't when Autodesk first introduced it inside of Max. I did not like Arnold, but it's come a long way. It is quite nice to use now. Smurpery says you must bail out, no problem. See you later, Smurpery. Thanks for being here and popping in. I'll be back on again tomorrow, of course. You have a good night, Smurf. Anyway, I just wanted to sort of get an idea of what the texture looked like with the glass there. So that's fine. But I think we might call it a day. We got the hourglass done, which was the most important thing. Tomorrow we can pick up where we left off. There's only a couple more assets left for me to do for the study before we jump into Unreal 4. So I've got to do the magnifying glass. I want to do a hand mirror, and I want to do a decorative box. So only a few more bits and pieces, and then we can start putting it all together inside of Unreal. Yuri says it's pretty funny since my GPU is a 1070 and I have a pretty nuts GPU. I can render faster in Arnold with the CPU than the GPU. So yeah, tomorrow we will continue on with the magnifying glass, and that which won't take long, so it's only a tiny thing. And then we'll probably start the hand mirror. So yeah, we'll continue with our asset creation tomorrow. I do want to thank you guys and girls so very much for being here and for hanging out and watching with me. Hopefully I'll see you guys tomorrow. You guys and girls take care, stay safe, and hopefully I will see you all tomorrow. See you guys.